we are going to discussion about the next concept, the comparison between electric charge and mass. For the previous class, then we have been discussion about the Coulomb's law and its vector form, the concept of permittivity, absolute permittivity, permittivity for free space, then all the things that we have been discussing for the last class. Today, let us discussion about the comparison between charge as well as mass. This is the basic thing. Already we have been studied about the concept of charge. In the first PUC, the concept of mass. What actually mean by that mass? That already you know that. The mass, it is nothing but body. Of course, it's an invariant property of that body. If the body, if it exists, there must be some mass. Without mass, we cannot able to say the existence of that body. So far, in these particular consideration, so what actually mean by that mass? It's a quantity of matter contained in a body, nothing but say that's a mass. Already we studied about the charge. The charge is the basic property of an elementary particle, say fundamental particle. That is also that invariant property that we have been discussed for that last class. Now, for the examination point of view, sometimes they may be able to ask, we are expecting in the examination, distinguish between electric charge and mass. With reference to that always we are expecting at least 2 to 3 points regarding that charge as well as that mass. There must be some comparison. So for in this case what? The charge, it may be positive or negative, that already we studied. About that mass, the mass is always positive. We cannot able to say the mass is negative, but we must say the mass is always the positive. The next one, the charge is quantized. That we have been discussed in the properties of electric charges. So quantization of charge means, say total charge of that body is equal to integral multiple of fundamental charge, Q equal to plus or minus NE. That's a quantization of charge. That mass not yet established, quantization of mass, it is not yet established. Mass never be quantized, that is what I said. About the charge motion unaffected by their motion means what? Say not affected by the velocity of the body. Of course, say charge unaffected by their motion means that velocity of the charge, it remains same. That is what supposed to know about the charge. But in that mass, obviously, say the mass, it will changes with the velocity of that body. Of course, how that mass of that body, if it is in motion, say mv equal to m naught divided by square root of 1 minus v square divided by c square. Say, if the body, if it is moving, their mass will changes. That is what I said here. This is the expression. If the body is in motion, its mass will change. Where say that c is the speed of light. As already you know that. C is the speed of light, velocity of light. How much it is? It is 3 into 10 to power 8 meter per second. So far, that's the speed of light. Then the next fourth one, charges always conserved. Charges always conserved. What about the mass? Mass is not conserved. Then one more thing. In this case, the force between 2-point charges, for example, Q1 and Q2 charges, both there must be some force will establish. See, that force, whether it may be the attractive force or repulsive force, it totally depending on nature of the charge only. So far, force between two charges may be attractive or repulsive. But about that mass, say always it is say attractive force. That already we studied in gravitational force. How it is? It depending on that magnitude of that masses only, magnitude of that masses, so that say F equal to what? G m1 m2 divided by d square about the force between two bodies having certain masses. That what we have been studied. In this case, about the charge, that Coulomb's law. It may be attractive force or say the repulsive force. This is the basic concept regarding what we call say difference between charge as well as that mass. After this one, very important factor, force between multiple charges. Yes, as already we studied, force between 2 point charges, those two charges are separated by certain distance. But more than two charges, what is the force between multiple charges? ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ 2 point ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ 2 point ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಸಪರೇಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಸರ್ಟೆನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಕುಲಂಬ್ಸ್ ಲಾನ ನಾವು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಎರಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ what is the force between these particular concept? Say force between the multiple charges. That is also one of the important concept. Sometimes we are expecting for 3 marks question in the board examination. Especially for this force between multiple charge, this concept we have to use to solving some more examples, means problems. To solving some numericals, we supposed to use this particular concept. It's the most important concept in this case. That also we can able to use on the basis of the Coulomb's law. As I told earlier, say the Coulomb's law is the most important one. That principle we supposed to apply here also. See what happens here. Forces between multiple charges are, see, principle of superposition of electric forces. It's the most important. Sometimes they may be able to ask, write the expression, of course, derive the expression for principle of superposition of electric forces. The later electric field concept, there also we supposed to use this particular concept. You try to understand what actual the principle of superposition of electric force. See, the statement, now in this case, when a number of charges are interacting, as I told, number of charges, more number of charges if they are interacting, what is the total force? That total force, say on a given charge, is the vector sum of that individual forces exerted on a given charge by all other charges. It's a very simple statement. Want to find a total force interacting when number of charges are interacting with that one charge. Let us say that one charge, number of charges will interacting with this one so far. Then what happens? Total force is always equal to, say, vector sum of the individual forces exerted on the given charge by all other charges. That is the statement. Let us say in this case what happens? No? Say this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis and this is z-axis. Let us consider in this case Q1 is also the point charge. So Q2, Q3 and Q1. Q1, it is at the distance, say that R1 from this origin. That R1 is a position vector. This is the R2 and this one is R3 and this one is that R1. Say, let us consider Q1, Q2, Q3, so on up to Qn. These are all the point charges located in a vacuum. with that position vectors R1, R2, R3 and so on up to that Rn respectively. Let us say according to the statement what we came to know that in this case. Say the total force on this Q1 charge, total force on this Q1 charge due to all other charges, say Q2, Q3, Q4 and Qn, all other charges. That's what? Force between multiple charges. In this case, total force on this charge. This is a given charge Q1. Say, due to these number of point charges Q2, Q3 and so on up to Qn, separated by distances, that's what? R1, R2, R3. Say these are all R2 and R3, so on up to Rn. So far, these are all the distances. That force, how exactly can able to see interacting with this particular charge. So far, in this case, simple one. Let me take. This is the Q1 charge. Say the force of interaction between this Q1 charge as well as Q2 charge. Say this is the Q1 charge and it's a Q2 charge. There must be some force of interaction between these two. So that force is what we call it now, say F12, because that point charge Q1 it is a point charge Q2. Separated by distance is what we call that R2. You may call R12 also. Say this the force, what actually it is, the force of repulsion that is along say F12. So far this F12 is the force between 2 point charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance is R2. Again that we can able to use particularly so far how exactly that force F12, that force interacting between these two concepts now. So far in this case that F12 equal to say 1 divided by 4 pi f naught Q1 Q2 divided by R2 square, R12 is the unit vector. Let me take F12 equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 divided by R2 square, R12. This is what? Again we have been used here the Coulomb's law. As I told earlier, the Coulomb's law is very important concept while discussion about this electrostatic. So in these topics, we try to understand the properties of electric charges and Coulomb's law. So the same thing that I have been used here also. The same thing, the force between again the 2 point charges Q1 as well as Q3. Again Q1 as well as Q3 separated by distance is R3. So that again F13, that is the force between these two. This is the F13. So in this particular consideration, that force F13 equal to 1 divided by 4 pi f naught Q1 Q3 divided by R3 square, say R13 unit vector. This is the continuation up to that F1n. Again 1 divided by 4 pi f naught, say Q1 Qn divided by R1 Rn square, R1n unit vector like this. So far, in this case, I want to find out what is the total force between these multiple charges that what we have been used. See, in this case, the total force F1 on Q1 due to those two number of point charges Q2 and Q3. See, continuation. So F1 equal to F12 plus F13 plus F14 up to F1n. So that is what? Again, I just substitute those values. Say F1 equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 divided by R2 square, R12 unit vector. Say 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q1, say Q3. Say Q3, Q1 Q3 divided by R3 square, R13 unit vector. plus 1 up to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon q1 qn rn square r1n unit vector. So this is the important say that formula. In a general that I can able to write say f1 equal to q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon summation say algebraic sum. That's what summation qi divided by r1I whole square say r1I unit vector. In a general, that is what we call it now. Say that f naught equal to 1 divided by 4 f naught summation of q naught qi divided by ri square into that unit vector. This is very important expression. This expression always we can able to use to solving the example, especially this f equal to f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus fn like this for the multiple charges that we can able to use. So far, you try to understand the concept of this principle of superposition of electric forces now. Okay. So after this, then we'll go for say another the next concept. See the next one, charge distribution or continuous charge distribution. So far in this case, the distribution of electric charges. How this electric charge should be distributed? The charge distribution, it depends on the shape of the body. If the shape of the body is uniform, distribution of electric charge will be that uniform distribution. If the shape of that body is non-uniform, distribution of electric charge will be that non-uniform. This is the basic concept. With reference to that all, how the distribution of electric charges. So far in this case, there are three important factors that I would like to discussion here one by one. The firstly, the linear charge distribution or linear charge density. Say surface charge density, the second one. Third one is the volume charge density or volume charge distribution. Let me take the first one. Here, say linear charge density. So far in these particular considerations, the system of closely spaced charges, system of closely spaced charges, that is also that one of the important concepts. Here the distribution of electric charge, in which that's one is linear charge density. The linear charge, linear means what? It's the length. That's what we call that length. Say how to define. Charge per unit length, it's very simple concept. What is linear charge density? Charge per unit length, it's a basic thing. The charge per unit length. For example, this is what we call the length of that particular body. That's the length now. In this length, say that Q amount of charge should be distributed on this surface of this wire. You may call that length of that particular body. Say this charges, that Q amount of charges distribute uniformly over entire this line of length. That length is that L. So Q be the amount of charges, L be the length of this particular say the line. That's a body. So this Q amount of charges distributed uniformly on this say that length, line length we call it. So mathematically that we can able to write lambda equal to Q divided by that L. Lambda, that is the denoted by the linear charge density. Say lambda equal to Q by L. This lambda we can also write it as say delta Q by L. Delta L. Say this is what we call linear charge density. The SI unit of this linear charge density is what we call coulomb per meter. Coulomb per meter. So far, this is the SI unit of this linear charge density. The same thing. So for charge density, let me know linear charge density. It's SI unit. Again, you can able to write the dimensional formula for this. Say dimensional formula for the charge is 80. Say dimensional formula for length is that L. So I can able to write, say, A T L minus 1. This is what now dimensional formula for this linear charge distribution or charge density. If suppose the distribution of charge is, say, not uniform, then we must able to say linear charge density at a point. If the charge density is not uniform, let me take, you must say that it is at a point, linear charge density at a point. The simple concept it is you try to analysis, but you try to understand distribution of electric charge is totally depending on shape of the body or the conductor. That you should keep it in your mind. So the second one, the surface charge density. It's very simple thing. Surface, some area. Areal charge density also we call it. Surface charge density, areal charge density. That is also denoted by letter sigma. See, this is what? Charge per unit area. Surface charge density is defined as, so for charge per unit area. So for ratio of charge to that of the unit area. So far, this is surface charge density. Let me take, this is what we call some surface area, ds, or sometimes we may be able to call it area A. Say that area of this body, that is the ds. So around this, the q amount of charge should be distributed. Q amount of charge should be distributed, say, over the surface of this area. That charge will be uniformly distributed. So far, in this case, the sigma equal to Q divided by ds. Charge per area. Charge is Q, area is ds, or sometimes we may be able to call it know that A. Sigma equal to Q by A or dQ by ds also, delta S also. So far, if suppose, that's what, the distribution of electric charge on the surface, it is not uniform, then we may able to get, say, surface charge density at a point. Surface charge density at a point. Again, we can able to write its SI is Coulomb per meter square. Coulomb per meter square. Similarly, you can able to write the dimensional formula. Charge, say that Q, charge AT, say that area meter square L2. So far it is AT L minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of this particular surface charge density. So after this one, the third one, volume charge density. The volume charge density must be denoted by, say, that letter, so for rho. Rho is symbolically you can able to representing in this case volume charge density. So here, how to define volume charge density? It is defined as charge per unit volume. Charge per unit volume. Let me take, say, in these particular some, say that volume, particular, this is the body, its volume. Say that volume is dV. So far, the charge Q, they must be uniformly distributed on the surface of, uniformly distributed over this volume. So far, the volume is dV. Q amount of charges will be uniformly distributed, so that rho equal to Q divided by V or Q divided by dV. That's rho equal to Q by volume. Rho is, say, volume charge density should be equal to charge divided by that volume. It's a simple mathematically also you can able to express. So that SI unit of this volume charge density is Coulomb per meter cube. Coulomb per meter cube. So dimensional formula of this volume charge density is again charge is 18. So far, say that's what? Volume L cube. So implies that A T L minus T. This is the dimensional formula for this, say, volume charge density. As I told, so far, this, the distribution of electric charges, say, linear charge density, volume charge density, surface charge density. These three are very important concepts. Always you should try to understand the distribution of electric charges. Many times 2 mark questions or 1 mark questions they may able to ask, and also write the dimensional formula or SI unit of surface charge density, volume charge density or linear charge, anything they may able to ask. So far, especially for the competitive examination point of view, we are expecting the numericals based on this. Say there are some more that factors that will discussion, especially for the numericals, or discussion about the numericals. So we can able to use this particular formula how to ask the questions, numericals in the examination. Okay. Today in this session that we have been discussed about this distribution of electric charge concept, that is what, and particularly these formulae are very important, and superposition principle, that also we have been discussed for this session. Okay, that next session that I will discussion about very important concept is that electric field.